All right, let's get to the next topic. What do you got for us, Tetsuo?
All right. Well, I tried a new board game out the other day called Time Stories. Uh, have either of you guys heard about this game at all? It's been around for a little
Never
bit.
before.
Do you cook delicious steaks in butter and thyme,
Yes. No.
but not on the board game, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I do. Yes, and garlic, but no, that's not the board game. No. So Time Stories. It's a collaborative, or not collaborative, cooperative board game. Essentially, so the story of it is everybody plays an agent in this time police agency thing. I forget what the agency's name for the game is, but it's like time agency or something
Time
like
cops.
you are time cops, and the whole point is you're supposed to be stopping schisms in time from happening. And so what you do is they send you into these receptacles, and then they transplant your consciousness into somebody that is existing in that timeline. So the stock game, the story that it comes with, I'm not going to get much into the story because if I do, it will ruin the game. The game is very atmospheric, but it's also very story-driven, and a little bit of story can easily spoil your gameplay through it. But essentially, there's a time schism happening in the 1920s at this mental hospital facility, asylum. And so all of the characters that you can choose from, because whenever it does that, you can either look at the cards, read them, and pick which character you want, or shuffle them up and just pass them out randomly. And each one has a different ability, but it also has a different drawback based off of what their psychiatric problem is at this place. And I don't know how it handles some of the other expansions. So each expansion is its own story. And all of the pieces that come with the game are designed in such a way where you can use them between all the stories. Like there's a token, with the first story, it'll say this brown token is considered a bullet token for this story. But in one of the other stories, it might, I don't know, a health token or a stress token or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the other games, so I'm kind of pulling that out of nowhere. But they let you reuse all the pieces. And essentially, you guys work together against the clock to try to stop whoever is opening up this time schism from doing so.
Okay. So does it really only benefit you to play through a story once then?
Yeah, are you like spoiled if you play it again?
It doesn't have like multiple scenarios like House on the Hill or something, right?
No, it's not like that in that regard, but there is a lot. So first and foremost, it definitely is a game where you are expected to lose. So there is a mechanic built in where if you run out of time, you can go back, because again, you're playing time cops, so time manipulation isn't too bad a thing, but it affects like your score and a couple other things. So obviously you want to try not to do it if you can avoid it. But when we played, we actually had to go through it 4 times, and we still did not explore everything that was in this one area. So while, yes, it does spoil it once you play through it once, because you might know, okay, I can immediately go here and essentially speed run it. At the same time, there might be areas that you just never touched, you never explored, and you and the other group might go through all these other different channels that you didn't go through on the first one.
So is it like a dungeon crawler style game?
Kind of, yeah. So
like Descent, if you've ever played Descent?
A little bit. So
Is
the way
there
that
a
the game
map?
is set up. Yeah, I was gonna say the way the game is set up. It's a board that's put out, and then you have 4 cards, at least for this one, that show the map of the asylum. And what you'll do is you'll put a token down and say, hey, we're all in this room. And that's one thing. It does not let you split the party. The party has to stay together. But in the room, there'll be a card that you'll read, and it'll describe the room, and then you'll put so many cards out based off of whatever that narrative card tells you. And each card represents a different area of that room or area of space, whatever. So each person can go to a different card, or everybody can go together, and then you flip open the card, but only you can read it and only you can look at it. You cannot let anybody else see what's on that card. However, part of the whole wibbly wobbly timey-wimey thing, you guys are also connected telekinetically, so you can try to describe the card to everybody, but you're not supposed to let them see the card. You're not supposed to read the card verbatim to them either. You're just supposed to describe what you see. And so theoretically, you could just everybody jumps around and visits every single card together so everybody sees it, but that takes more time. There's a time counter that goes down, so every action you take, the time counter will slowly go down. And then as you uncover things, you'll uncover more areas, more items, more, maybe you have to backtrack to that room that you started at because suddenly you realized, oh, there was something there that we missed the first time because we didn't know was an option. That kind of thing. It's fun. There's a lot of hopping around though. Like there's a lot of kind of planning and discussing and.
Does it have combat?
It does have combat. So each character has 3 stats. You have essentially it's dexterity, charisma, and strength. I forget what they call them, but essentially it's your ability to do quick moves, your ability to talk your way out of hard situations, and your ability to punch things in the face. Stats, and it'll tell you how many dice you can roll. Each die is a d6 with a blank side, 2 skull sides, 2 star sides, and 1 2-star side. Roll them. For each star you get, that's a success. So some cards will have challenges on them. Not all cards, but some cards will. And they will tell you what type of roll you can do. So you would look at your card. Okay, so say it's a combat card skill challenge, and your person has a 3 in combat. So you would roll 3 dice, but the challenge, it'll tell you how big the challenge is by showing little shields. So let's say it's a challenge 3. As long as you get 3 starbursts, you complete the challenge. Pretty simple, pretty easy mechanic. But sometimes the shields will have a skull on them. You then add it to the skull shield still remaining, and you take that much damage. So every character will have a life and a soak value, so they can soak the damage that they take. So your more melee guys are going to be able to really dish out and soak the damage. But like the guy I was playing had no charisma score whatsoever. I couldn't even attempt to do a talk out of situation.
This sounds a lot like Descent. Who's it made by?
Asmodee Games.
Oh, yeah.
The company that owns Fantasy Flight.
Is that the Okay, for some reason I thought Fantasy Flight maybe owned them. I knew that they were connected, sort of, so. Okay. But yeah, it's done by them. And so there's a few expansion packs. Each expansion pack has a new story. I want to say the base game is like 50, and the expansions are like 25 or 30. I don't remember, though. That's not hard and fast.
Guess who owns Descent?
Asmodee.
Fantasy Flight Games.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Was there anything that you didn't think was, or maybe could have been better, or you didn't like so much?
There was a riddle that we were trying to figure out that it's very, how do I word this without being spoilery? It's very esoteric. And it's not that it's difficult necessarily, but the difficult part is realizing, bring to the table, so to say, to solve this riddle. It got very deep very fast, and it was like hold on boys, we're going deeper, and it's like I don't know that there's any deeper to go, and suddenly we'd find out that we're still in the shallows. Like it got layers upon layers. So I enjoyed that. I really liked that. But at the same time, I could see my wife she was getting very brain tired very fast, because it was like, this is a lot. And of course I had a notepad out, so I'm taking notes as I'm playing. I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to play a board game where they need to have a piece of paper out to take notes on the card.
That would be a kind of board game that would frustrate me. I feel if I had to take notes. It's
And
something
you
I would.
You don't
It's something I would.
have to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play it like late at night. I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Our last run, I think we packed up the game at like 11:10. We were like, okay, we're halfway through a run. We know where we're at. We took pictures, but we're like, nah, it's 11:10. There's no way we're going to be able to actually figure out this puzzle right now. We are exhausted. But if that's your deal, if you love the really in-depth, really got to think about the puzzles, then this is right up your alley. If you find puzzles that as a player you have to answer, as opposed to having like a role that you can do to solve it, to be difficult or annoying, you probably won't enjoy this game, because there's not a whole lot of those.
How many players is it?
It's advertised 2 to 4 because it comes with 4 tokens, but it does have like 8 people.
Yeah.
So
you get some different replay out of it, basically.
Yeah, just a little bit in that regard as well.
What's the average game time or whatever it says on there too?
I don't remember what it says on it itself. Look it up real fast. But for us, we were roughly going about to an hour 15 per run.
Oh wow!
But I was also stopping them so that way I could take notes. So that is, take that into account when I say that, because I'm one of those.
Yeah, if you are meant to fail, then I guess you could get quite a few sessions. Like, I mean, if you only play for like an hour or maybe once do one run and then move on to something else, or
Yeah.
How much did the game cost you?
My buddy brought it over, but I think
okay.
I want to say it retails 50. I can over here. Yeah, retails for 50. And the expansions are about 25. Yeah, the additional story is about 25. So, and the amount of stuff it comes with, like, it's very densely packed with stuff. So you definitely get your money's worth. It's not like, some board games can be like $50, but it's like, this is kind of a $20
really
game.
rinky dink, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not that. Like, this was one I could see retailing for on the $70 to $90 range and being okay. Because some board games do. But
I always think
I balk at that, but
yeah, one of my first board games I played. I mean, obviously not like Sorry or Monopoly or something, but was Twilight Imperium, and
boy, that was your first game?
Yeah, and
why? Who did that to you?
A masochist. And how much does that game retail for? Like $150?
Yeah,
it's super expensive.
But it's like a 10-hour session. Like you get your money's worth,
dude.
Yeah.
I played that game once. Oh boy,
it's a game
that took all day.
But anyways, keep going, Ted. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh no, you're fine. That was actually a good
segue.
Because it's not as bad as Twilight Imperium is in that regard.
Not much.
But I could see you easily spending 5 to 6 hours on this game and still having fun, still exploring things and getting more information and diving into it if you want to sit at the table for that long. But I mean, how many video games do we do that with, And the story itself can get as in-depth as that, if not more so. But I mean, because it's exploratory, you can also kind of take your own pace. If you and everybody decide to fly through everything, you could as well, so. But I recommend it if you like board games that are a bit of a mental teaser. Because, again, the really difficult puzzle that we were working on, I don't know if it was actually necessary to completing this story. It kind of felt a little bit like a tangent, but I'm a completionist, so I gotta go do all the tangents. But if you don't like games that are if when you sit down to a board game, you want to play something that you just can kind of play with friends and just goof off and not have to focus too much on the game itself and really drench your brain in it, you're probably not going to enjoy time stories. To be fair, if that's your inclination and there's a game that says this is a game about timelines and crossing timelines and weaving timelines and changing timelines, you're probably not going to be intrigued by the game anyway, because timelines tend to imply in-depth craziness. But
just play Timeline while you play Time Stories.
Exactly. Oh, I forgot about that game.
I love Timeline. It's so fun.
Timeline's so much fun. I could talk about that at another podcast, though.
Yeah.